Hi, it's Lee from colouringqueen.net and I hope you're all doing well today. Thank you to everyone that's been checking in on me. I'm still seeing the doctors every couple of days and I'm off to get an ultrasound done this week, so hopefully everything will be okay. So today I thought I would colour in Natalia's colouring book, Enchanted Seasons. And that's the English translation. And I recently reviewed that. I'll put a link up for the review in the top right hand corner and in the description box below. It's her first colouring book and I thought I'd start with some intents from my little set of 12 and then put some pencils over it. So this may be a two-part video because I just plan on doing a bit today and then a bit more next time. Now I know there are lanterns in this picture and that would normally indicate doing a night scene, but I really wanted to do something bright and colourful with lots of pinks and purples and reds, so I'm going to make it a day scene instead, and the lanterns may be up there but they're not lit in my picture. So Valentine's Day is coming up and we haven't thought about anything to do, but David did pick up some cute Valentine's Mickey and Minnie cups and I'll put a pic up here so you can have a look at them. They're so cute. We had coffee in them today and when you put them together it looks like they're kissing each other, so very, very cute. And Valentine's Day always makes me think of all things romantic, and one of those things is a simple kiss, which reminded me of today's story, a story of a kiss. So we're going all the way back to 1837, and Queen Victoria had ascended to the throne and made the bold move to make her home at Buckingham Palace. Pitman shorthand was invented, as well as Liam Perry's Worcester sauce, which is still going today and in my fridge. And the idea that would become the stamp was born, among other things. So things were starting to change, but there were still some rough spots like outbreaks of flu and plague before the huge changes brought about by the Industrial Revolution in the 1840s. But back to our story. We're in the UK and Christmas was celebrated back then at Christmas time, on the same date as we celebrate now, but it wasn't as we know it. There may be parties and families getting together and playing games and some decorations and greenery, but Christmas trees, Santa Claus, Christmas cards and turkey dinners, they would all come later. It was far pared back from what we know today of as Christmas, especially Christmas in the Victorian era, because Queen Victoria did introduce a lot of the items that we know today, like Christmas trees, for instance. So during this period, two sisters, Caroline Newton, a married woman, and her sister had spent Christmas together. They probably started off going to church on Christmas Day, and then the day after, they decided to visit a pub in England, and that was the 26th of December, the day that we now know as Boxing Day, but that didn't come into effect as a holiday until 1871. Back in 1836, when our story takes place, or 1837 I should say, it was still just the day after Christmas. So the women were letting their hair down and enjoying themselves. Caroline's husband was at home and her sister's young man was in Birmingham, and they got chatting to the other patrons at the pub, including one man called Thomas Sutherland. And it seems all three were joking around and enjoying this post-Christmas party atmosphere. Caroline's sister told the men around the bar that she had promised her young man that she would not allow a man to kiss her while he was in Birmingham, and she was out on the town enjoying the festivities. Now, being told that the girl would not allow a man to kiss her was like a red rag to a bull for Thomas, and he took it as a challenge. He grabbed her and planted a kiss on her mouth, and she laughed it off and took it just as a bit of fun. However, her sister Caroline felt that it was much more serious, and she told Thomas how angry she was and that she didn't think it was funny at all. Thomas didn't back down and apologise for his behaviour, but instead he told her if she was angry he would try and kiss her as well. So he doubled down and he leaned in and set about to try and kiss Caroline. But she wasn't having it at all, and there was a bit of a scuffle when she rebuffed him, and they both ended up falling on the ground. By that time, I think Thomas knew that he had crossed the boundaries, and he moved away from the women and went to stand by the fire in the pub. And of course, being December in England, it was cold. But Caroline wasn't going to let him get away with this and pretend it didn't happen. And she wasn't going to let him get away with his behaviour. So she followed him over and she gave him a slap. Now, ever the glutton for punishment, Thomas again tried to kiss her. And maybe he was full of liquid Christmas cheer, but he really should have known by now that no means no. But he didn't. Caroline, by this stage, was at her limit. And when he tried to kiss her another time, another scuffle ensued, and it was only broken by Thomas crying out in pain. And he yelled, "She's got my nose in her mouth." And when Caroline let go of Thomas's nose, you could quickly see that she'd caused damage. His nose was bleeding all over the place, and the piece where the left nostril was, that had been bitten off. Caroline spat it out where it landed on the floor, looking very sad and sorry for itself. So Thomas had lost a portion of his nose, and no doubt a lot of his dignity, and he decided that Caroline should pay for what she'd done to him. And there was no way he was risking another round with her in the pub, so he took things to the magistrate's court. Caroline proved to be just as feisty in the courtroom as in the pub. She told the magistrate that Thomas had no right to kiss her or her sister in a public place, adding that they were not that kind of people. And she added insult to injury and said that if she wanted to be kissed, she had a husband at home who was far better looking than Thomas, even with his full nose. And it seems that the court got great amusement out of this case, and Thomas had no friends within the legal system. The prosecutor, who usually would have been on his side, felt that Thomas had brought his injury on himself, and the magistrate told the jury that no matter if they found her guilty, the maximum they would fine her would be 1 shilling, or less than £30 in today's money. So the jury acquitted her. And the magistrate, in summing up, told Thomas he was sorry for the loss of his nose, but if he would play with cats, he must expect to get scratched. He told the jury, "Gentlemen, my opinion is that if a man attempts to kiss a woman against her will, she has a right to bite his nose off, if she has a fancy for so doing. And to eat it too," added a barrister, and everyone had a really good laugh at this, except for Thomas, who was not happy at all. The case was originally reported in Bell's Weekly Messenger, which was a Sunday paper with a leaning towards farming and agricultural matters as suited the time period. And although there were law reporters back then, they were ad hoc and not the uniform system of law reporting that came into being later on in the 1860s. So some people have disputed the case exists because they can't find it in current law reports. But the reason for that is the system wasn't in play back then, and even now it would be very unusual for a magistrate's court, the lowest court in the system, to have a case reported in law reports. So why is the case important, and why am I telling you about it? Well, it's the case that the laws of sexual harassment were built on, and it gave women the right to defend their virtue, even if force was required. It's also important because Caroline did not consent, whether expressly or impliedly, to the kiss, and nothing in her behaviour indicated that it would be welcomed. So it's also important from a consent point of view where no means no. So I don't know about you guys, but I think we're all pretty grateful that Thomas pursued this matter in court and that Caroline protected herself. I don't know about you guys, but, in the country town where I grew up in, this sort of behaviour was very, very common. And most people never reported it, they just let it go. But that's why all these sexual harassment rules have come in and laws and to protect people. So I don't know what you guys think, if Caroline should have just taken it as a bit of a joke and not done anything about it. I personally think, she told him that she wasn't interested, and I'm glad that she defended herself in court and that we have this case. I think it's really important. But I'd like to know what you think. So yeah, that's it for my little story today, a little Valentine's story about kissing. So if you've got any little plans on going out on Valentine's Day and someone gets a little bit fresh with you, you're allowed to say no, and no means no, and this is the case that told us that. So I don't know what we're doing for Valentine's Day. I suspect nothing much, but I'm not really keen on going out. Every time you go out for Valentine's Day dinner, they always have a set menu, and it's never things that I really like or can eat because I'm allergic to seafood, and most menus around here seem to have a predominance of seafood on them. So for me, it's usually not that much fun because half of it I won't eat anyway. But if you're going somewhere nice for Valentine's Day, I'd love to know about it. And I think I'm not going to worry about getting gifts or anything this year. I think we've got other things to buy, and yeah, I can't see anything that I really like at the shops anyway, so I think we'll pass on that as well. Oh, I forgot to say, it's been 1 year to the day since we've had Buddy. So I cannot believe that it's been a year. I don't know, sometimes it seems longer that we've had him, and then sometimes it doesn't seem like we've had him long at all. But I had to go through all the messages on my phone to work out which day it was. I was sure it was tomorrow, but turns out it was today. So he got some special chicken for dinner as a 1 year anniversary, and nothing else, no toys. He got plenty for Christmas and for his birthday, so no toys, but just some chicken, barbecue chicken, and a new bone. So I'll have to put up a new photo of him on his Instagram with his bone before he eats it all, because he really loves them. So I can't believe it's been a year since he's come into our life, and he is just such a beautiful dog. He is just so good. Never, barks or whines, and so gentle. You can even put your hand in his mouth and he doesn't do anything. David took his bone off him today and he didn't growl or didn't do anything, which normally you would never take food from a dog. And yesterday he was laying on the bed and Millie walked right on top of him, right over him to get on the pillow on top of him. And he never did anything. He just let a cat walk on him. He's just so sweet and gentle. It just is such a shame that he has to go through all that he does with his epilepsy. He's had a few seizures over the last few weeks and it's been really tough on him. Poor little thing. It takes him like a couple of days to get over a really bad seizure. And he sits around and he feels pretty sorry for himself, and his eyes are all red and he doesn't want to go for his walk as much, but he still goes, but not far, and he's really lethargic and tired. It's just a shame that he has to go through it, but I was reading the other day that they're doing a bit of research into epilepsy and with humans, and they do a lot of experiments on animals to see how they're travelling with their epilepsy. So hopefully something, will come out of that, because not a lot of headway has been made with it. I know my brother had epilepsy, quite severe, and it surprised me when our first dog had epilepsy and they were still prescribing the same drugs that my brother took, when I was a kid. And I thought things would have advanced a lot more and there would be better things, but apparently not. So, yeah, I hope they do get somewhere with this latest research that they're doing. It would be good. I hate him taking so much medication. He actually takes, 3, 4.5. He takes, 7 pills a day at specific times. So I've always got to make sure I'm home to give him his medicine. Otherwise, if it goes too far out of time, then, he might be at risk of having another seizure. I keep a little diary as well of what the weather was like and what he did on the days that he has seizures. I'm always hoping to see a pattern, so something that I can avoid him doing so that he doesn't have a seizure. But to date, that has not happened. But I'll keep persevering. You never know. Might get lucky one day and work out what it is that triggers them. But really, sometimes there's just no trigger. It's just the way it is. But, I can't think of anything else I have to tell you. I've taken to doing my audio downstairs, and so I have to cart my computer down there as well. And the reason for that is so that I don't get as much noise, because we're in a 2-story place and on the corner, and we tend to pick up a lot of noise from cars and whatnot. So the fence kind of blocks the noise from the road, and rather than recording during the day where my audio gets interrupted by school bells and cars and you name it, I'm doing the recording all sort of at night. So last week I think I was up until 3 a.m. doing audio so that it was nice and quiet. And I was so tired the next day. But tonight I've managed to make it earlier to do the audio and the recording so that I'm not falling asleep during the day and needing another nap. And so what else have I been doing? Can't think of anything. We were hoping to use the pool this weekend, but it has not stopped raining. It's sunny 1 minute, then you put the clothes on the line and it starts raining. You take the clothes off the line and it stops raining and the sun comes out. And the pool just doesn't get warm enough to go for a dip. And so it's just constant rain. Hopefully we're going to get a summer soon, but it is. I was reading in the news this morning, it is the wettest summer ever. And what they're missing there is that it's also the most humid summer, but there's no actual hot heat in it to warm up the pool. And my doctor has finally said that I can go in the pool. And now, of course, I can't go in the pool because it's too cold. So I can't win. So hopefully this week it'll warm up and I can actually go in the pool and enjoy it. But I am really looking forward to it. And hopefully Buddy will be joining us and having a swim so that he can lose a little bit of weight. He desperately needs to lose a few more kilos. He's going in this week to get a blood test done, and I know the vet is not going to be happy that he hasn't lost any weight, But hopefully, he's lost enough to make her a tiny bit encouraged, and he just needs to shift those few extra kilos. But hopefully he will soon. He's been a bit tired out, poor little thing, from his seizures, but he's definitely on a diet and he gets fed less. And anyway, I think that's all I have to tell you. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to colour the rest of this picture with the Inktense, and then I'll come back in the next video and put some pencil over it. But I have this sort of vision in my head that it's going to be really bright and colourful. So I don't know. It might end up a total disaster, or I might actually like it bright and colourful. I was starting to get second thoughts that I maybe should have done it as a night scene, but I've really got my heart set on the bright and colourful. So we'll see how it goes next time when I talk to you again. So that's it from me. Until next time, stay safe and happy colouring.